The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off. Welcome to I Had to Say It, the podcast where I talk about things that I feel need talking about, and sometimes they're not getting the attention they deserve. And your feelings, they're not under consideration. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. Joining me today is Cody, the host of Dungeons and Podcasts. It's a live play listening show where they talk about Dungeons and Dragons. I know that's a
Yeah,
really fucked up concept for some people, but you know what? It's funny. Go fucking listen to it.
yeah, we have.
Say hi,
Oh,
Cody.
thanks. Hey, how's it going? And thanks for
Oh,
that. Yeah, that was nice.
it's going fantastically. Glad to have you here. Now, as per usual, we've been bullshitting for quite a while before we started recording this.
Yes,
So if we lapse back into conversations we already had, I apologize for you wonderful listeners, but it's
it
just kind of the way it
happens.
rolls sometimes.
It happens. We
It,
both work.
yes, we work. This is our chance to blow off some steam and socialize.
Indeed.
But so today, Cody and I are going to be discussing whatever comes up, as is the general flow of these interview sessions. A lot of them wind up running off the rails, and let's be honest, there's probably a pretty good chance that'll happen again. But
It
Cody
is.
does come to us with some specific things he would like to address, and we are going to start with those, and we'll just see where this goes. So, Cody, take it away.
All right, man. So, I was like, yeah, I want to talk about Star Wars because there's just something that has just really pissed me off, and I think it's pissed off a lot of the fan base. But, I was talking about it from the day that Kenobi trailer dropped, right? Have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So, in it shows the Grand Inquisitor, right? He was the bald guy with the red shit here and the red shit up here,
Yeah. And
and you saw his face was rotund, yeah,
yeah, it was very, very, very circular.
very circular.
He looked like Caillou with bad war paint.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No.
Um, so that guy, the guy he's based off of originated from the animated series Rebels, right? Star Wars Rebels,
Yep.
because that's where the Inquisitors were introduced. And he is from the planet Utapau, so he's an Utapun or Utapawan. I don't know how you pronounce it. Uh,
Utupin,
Utupin,
maybe.
Utapawan. It's fine,
And his
but
pronouns are fuck stick.
yeah, yeah. Well, but so his species has been in film already. We've seen it in live action in Revenge of the Sith. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi literally goes to the planet Utapau, and that's where he kills General Grievous on. But he talks to one of them there. And its head is a little elongated, honestly, but it's very thin. It's just a species trait.
Yeah, they have like an oval shaped dome that is long and tall.
And just this character just looks so fucking bad. It's going to distract me, it's going to upset me. And they're even doubling down on it. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but Marvel's releasing this new comic book, and on the cover is the Grand Inquisitor, and they've even changed his skin color to be more like peach, even though
The,
it's
the,
always gray like that. It's like this grayish white tone. That's the species color, and it feels like they're trying to change it, they're doubling down on it, and I'm like, no, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. And because I've been seeing more content directly about that, I feel like it's pissing off a lot of the fans, the real true hardcore fans who love Star Wars. Because there's no need for you to do that. You own it.
yeah, and
You have the money.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not like they needed to worry about cost. I mean, this is Disney for Christ's sakes.
Like, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the guy that's playing is Rupert Friend. I think that's the actor's name, and I'm pretty sure that he did the voice for Rebels. But so it's okay, so you don't have to do that with every voice actor that you've had doing the show. Okay, they can imitate them. We'd be much happier with you doing that and making them look aesthetically like they should, than fucking it up. And it's really part of a larger trend. Because like in Mandalorian, you have Ahsoka, and her tendrils are shorter than what they were in Rebels, so that doesn't really make sense because they that characters like that species, the Torgrata, their shit grows the older that they get, right? So that didn't make sense. So they fucked that up. Well, they have the money to do that head, right?
Well,
And
I mean,
like,
yeah.
well, one more example of this is Cad Bane. So we've seen Duros in live action. That's his species, and like he's always been thinner than the traditional Duros has, right? So like I don't blame them for making him that thin. And I thought he still looked pretty good, but his mouth was in a lower place, and all of his teeth were sharp, and they shouldn't have all been sharp. So like they've been taking these creative changes, and like Dave Filoni's involved in all of it, so he should fucking know. Like I'm supposed to trust Dave Filoni. I've got something signed by Dave fucking Filoni. Like it's a treasured item. Like I really like Dave Filoni. But fucking like this shit's really pissing me off. Like they could pay to have that. Why didn't he argue for that? I want to hear what Dave Filoni has to say about putting the fucking like not making it look right
Well,
because it's
I'm sure
really
he'll
just
get
a
back to
shame.
you. You know, Dave Filoni's a huge fan of mine. So,
Is he? I'm excited. I'm
yes,
looking forward to hearing from you, Dave.
yeah, no, I'm sure he's a regular listener.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can tell myself whatever I want.
damn straight.
I'll be honest, I've actually had a few things where, like, like bigger shows have been saying things where I'm like, I said that last week. What the fuck?
Dude, I've had something like that happen with Oreos. So I was in a game chat talking with friends, right, but through Discord,
Yes.
and I was like, it'd be really cool if Oreos came out with like a graham cracker cookie with like chocolate and marshmallow filling and call it like S'moreos. The only thing they didn't do is call it S'moreos, but they came out with it like a month later, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a coincidence, but
Could be,
it's a
but
little sus.
I prefer to think that they were listening.
Yes, they were Eve's hustling.
And I mean, I had the idea to deliver alcohol, like be like a legit like so like you're throwing a party and like people are too drunk to go get it, so you call us and we drop you off alcohol. But like no one wanted to be like, yeah, that's a good idea, Cody. We should like go do that. I could have been a millionaire by this point.
Well, I mean, there when it comes to that, it varies from state to state, but there are a shit ton of liability laws
Yeah,
involved.
yeah, but like as long as like you check the ID of the person signing for it, that's all you have to do to sign to drop off a keg. It's no different than doing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I mean, granted, I live in the fucking asshole of the country, worthless fucking state of
Everything's
Illinois.
regulated there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like they have what they call dram shop laws, where like if I was in a restaurant and I overserve somebody and he goes out and kills somebody because he's drunk driving, I can be sued for overserving this guy before he
But how
left.
can
And
they prove that you overserved them?
well, he'll that's where it's so fucked up. Well, I came from this place over here, and it's like I got rear-ended a few years back. I was driving my way home with my kid in the car, and because he told me he pulled one of those like traditional. I think it was middle school kind of things where he's like, "Oh yeah, I got a science project that's due tomorrow," and he
Right.
tells me at like fucking 8 o'clock at night. So and we live kind of out in the county, so we're like running into town to go to Menards to get shit because he has to build a windmill by morning. So we're running to Menards to get shit to build a windmill. And we're on our way home from Menards at like 9 o'clock at night. I got rear-ended by this drunk son of a bitch, and he literally knocked out. He rear-ended me so hard, I went off the road. He kept driving,
Oh no.
like didn't even slow down, didn't see his brake lights or nothing.
Hit and run. What a dick.
Oh yeah, and proceeded to drive into the subdivision, like about a half mile down the road from where we were, take out like 3 mailboxes, and the thing is, I wasn't going slow when he rear-ended me. I was on a county road. I was doing like 55.
Yeah.
And I saw him in my rearview mirror, and I told my kid, I was like, get your legs off the dashboard. Because he was like sitting in the front seat. I had a
Yeah.
minivan. He's sitting in the passenger seat with his feet up on the dashboard. I'm like, get your legs off the dashboard. He's like, why? I said, because we're about to get hit. And if those airbags go out, they're going to blow your legs through your fucking face.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, what? And he puts his legs down just as we get hit. I mean, and this guy was he was going fast.
Right. And if you're going 55, yeah, absolutely, you went off the road.
So I go down into the ditch, miss like 3 trees. The van starts tipping up on 2 wheels because it's a fucking minivan with a high ass center of gravity.
Yeah.
My kid's in the passenger seat. He got his legs off the dashboard, but he fucking took his seatbelt off for some fucking reason. So he starts like falling onto the door of the van. I'm in the driver's seat. We're on 2 wheels on the passenger side. So my side of the van is tilting like we're going to fucking roll this bitch.
Yeah.
I reach down, grab him by the shirt, and pull him into the driver's side of the car. So we, flop back down onto all 4 wheels. We go down in like this big sweeping arc through the fucking ditch off the side of the road. Somehow miraculously miss every solid piece of concrete and chunk of construction shit and debris that's there, and come back up on the side of the road and stop. And I'm like, oh fuck. And so I call 911 because I'm like, fuck this. And I report the collision. Where we were was literally like maybe 5-6 feet from where the division line was for like the cops from my village that I live in.
Yeah.
And the cops for the next town over, which is Joliet. So the Joliet cops that's who I got routed to. And they're like, where are you? And I told them, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll be there. That's going to take like 20 minutes for us to get there. You're on the other side of the fucking county. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you should, on your way, you'll probably pass this asshole, so stop him.
Oh no, he kept going towards where I live.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he actually crossed over the jurisdiction line.
Yeah, duh, my bad. Yeah.
And then like turned off into one of the subdivisions and was driving through people's yards and shit. And so I'm sitting there giving my statement to the cop and talking, and he's taking pictures of the back of my car and shit. And all these other cops from my village come out, and they're like, yeah, so we heard there's a collision out here, and da-da-da-da-da. He says, can you identify the car? I said, I didn't get much of a look at him, if I'm being completely honest. It was a late model sedan.
He came up from the back, dude. Yeah.
I was like, he rear-ended me, ran me off the road, and then kept going. So, why, do you got a sedan with a missing front end? And they go, actually, we do. And we're going to be charging him with all kinds of, you got like DUI and destruction of private property because he drove through like 4 people's yards. He took out like 3 mailboxes. He destroyed a whole bunch of landscaping. And they're like, yeah, we're going to add a fleeing the scene of a collision if you can identify the vehicle. And I'm like, it was either gray or green, and my kid's in the ditch like, it was green, I saw it. And they're like, oh, well, this is a white car. I'm like, motherfucker, that's close enough to gray. So that I didn't actually get to, do anything in terms of like, going after him for the fucking collision, because the fact that they caught a drunk 4 blocks over from where I was driving through people's yards after I just got rear-ended. But back to the point of this story, apparently this guy was so drunk he thought he was still in Joliet driving north instead of southwest, which is where he was.
Nice.
And
that's pretty drunk.
Yeah, he mentioned the restaurant he had been at, and the only thing that stopped that restaurant from getting sued by the homeowners whose property he destroyed is the fact that they'd been closed for like 3 weeks. So he was so drunk he couldn't remember where he got drunk.
Oh damn!
And it was pretty bad.
No, it was totally there. No,
I was at Senior Tequila's.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, this awesome. Actually, it's a shame that the place closed because they had like literally an entire wall of just tequila.
I mean, maybe he just went there to the parking lot and like brought his own fucking booze and just got like shitty.
I
Got
suppose
shitty
that
drunk
could be
there.
possible.
Just like was like, I'm so sad that this place closed.
Yeah, he was just mourning it.
And yeah, so like he wasn't lying. He was like, no, I swear I was. I swear.
I swear to God, officer, I don't know what you're talking about. We're in Romeoville. No,
Listen,
motherfucker, you're not.
listen. I'm, I'm no, no. That's where I was drinking. You can't tell me no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
So, but yeah, like I said, Illinois is funny like that because
See, yeah, like I
I
mean,
love this state.
yeah. So that would make it challenging, the idea. But there are places that do it now.
Oh yeah, no, there's apps,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and they changed with COVID going on. They changed the regulations here. Now you can deliver booze in Illinois. Go figure.
So yeah, see, like I had a great idea, like more than a decade before anyone else brought it to market. So I'm not saying I'm the first person to have the idea, but I had the idea, and yet here we are. Someone took it, or someone else at least had it, and
Yep.
there you go. I just
Yeah.
need to come up with something really good, get on Shark Tank, and I'll just sell it to Mr. Wonderful for like 2 million bucks. I could live off of 2 million bucks for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I probably could too. Although I
Right?
don't know. The less stable part of me is more like no, the compound's going to be at least 5 because
No, man. Like
I
I
have
would.
plans.
I mean, you could buy a house for 1 million and then put 1 million in the bank and live off the interest.
Well, theoretically, you could. The way things are going, the interest may be getting inflated away.
Yeah,
But
but also if you put 1 million in the bank, you're only assured up to like what, 100 something thousand? How much is it?
oh, geez, I want to say the FDIC insurance is only up to like I think it's a 250,000 or something like that. But
Is it 250? Okay.
yeah, I
Either way,
think I'm not going to swear
it's
to it.
either way. That's why if you have that kind of money, you spread it amongst several banks because you don't want to like have money that you lose. Like, because if like a bank goes under and you have $2 million in it, you're only going to get that 100,000, 200,000 back. That's it.
Yep.
So
Which is kind of a moot point since I got like $84 in the bank. So
hey, look, $84. That's good. Like I said earlier, I dropped 16 hundos
yeah,
today on the vehicle, and then you know, rent's due next week, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop 700 on it tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Adulting sucks.
hey, dude, it's fun.
Well,
It's
that's
so fun.
okay. If my Powerball investment pans out, I'll let you know. You can come live at the compound.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Well,
Like
actually, no.
you,
You're going to be working for me too because I have plans, but I need somebody that knows concrete. So
I know concrete will make good,
yeah, no.
strong concrete.
I
I'll
mean,
even
I'm
look
not going
up.
to lie. It's not an entirely original idea, but I do have plans for like preparing my compound. One way in, one way out, all that sort of stuff. And
Hmm.
but I had this great idea from one of the Resident Evil movies where they had that big trench around the entrance to their underground bunker, and it had like basically really steep sides, so you couldn't
Yeah.
climb back out of it, and then it had like a meat grinder at the bottom. Yeah,
Yep.
nothing quite says go away like the chance to become sausage. Like, nope, the bridge is up. You can't come into the compound this week. Sorry. Those anti-air flak cannons will make short work of anybody that tries to helicopter in. One way in,
Oh,
one way out. Take the road warrior truck out to go get supplies once a week.
yeah, I don't know, man. Things are getting a little serious. Like, I've been like, I read two articles today about Russia, and it makes me think that Putin is very unstable. But that the articles might have been written in a way to try to sway public opinion to wanting to enter a war. But either way, like the a former president and prime minister of Russia, Vladimir Desmedev or something like that, he was saying that the only thing that anyone's accomplished right now when it comes to Russia is making the leadership unstable because Putin's been removing people. Um, and basically getting one of the largest nuclear arsenals pointed directly at the US and Europe.
Yeah.
And then in another article it was talking about how he has removed the people who were in charge of like nuclear shit. Like as in like they would be the person to be like, yeah, okay, we should totally do this and stuff. So he got rid of those
He got
people
rid of the
too.
guys that have the keys.
Yeah, so now he's got the key.
Yeah, that does not make me feel better. And
Right. Like I feel like he's becoming super unhinged and it's
yeah,
very worrisome because if you like one nuke goes up, countries are going to respond
yeah. Well, that's the
with
and it's not
nukes.
like they have one. They have something like 1,600 warheads,
Yeah,
give or
and
take.
we have like if you I think it's something a really small number. I think it's about 24. If 24 nukes go off at the same time on Earth, it's over. Like it's nuclear winter, nothing on the surface survives. Goodbye. It's over.
Yep. Then the reptile people come.
Yeah. So really hoping that something like that is not on the horizon.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I like to think that if he is a little unstable, at least I hope he's not that flavor of crazy.
Right?
I mean, there are degrees of nuts, and there are degrees we can live with.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if people would kind of stick to that whole "we need to mind our own goddamn business" aspect of things, not in a way of saying we shouldn't be trying to help people, but at the same time, all this posturing like, oh well, this guy's he's the devil and all this other rhetoric that it's like you do real. I mean, I try and look at I try to be objective when it comes to certain things, even
Yes.
and a lot from a certain. Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with what's going on over there. I don't think anything that he's doing is justified, but
Hmm.
I can see how to his mind there's a necessity for it because NATO's been encroaching on the like neutral zone between the former Soviet Union and Europe for progressively for the last 2 decades, basically.
Yep. Now is that in a treaty or a contract that
Well,
they
yeah,
should be
they.
a neutral zone?
Well, no, it's more there. It was just kind of I don't know if it was ever an official thing, but there was always a buffer zone of countries between
Yeah.
the
That
NATO
didn't
allied
join.
countries,
I mean, hell,
and
Spain didn't join NATO for the longest time, honestly.
yeah. But in the last several years, NATO has been extending invitations further and further east into Eastern Europe, and gradually working their way that way. And he decided he wasn't okay with it. I mean, I like I said, I don't think it's right. I
Hmm.
personally think you know it like I feel bad for all the civilians that are getting dragged into this on both sides
Yeah.
because like a lot of these sanctions and a lot of the shit that the rest of the world is imposing on
Are
Russia.
hurting Russian citizens,
Yeah,
and
they're
that's
they're
it.
hurting the people that were protesting that the war was wrong in the first place.
Yep.
They're not harming the elite. They're not doing anything to Vladimir Putin. He doesn't give a shit.
I'd say probably the best scenario is like that somebody over there takes Putin out. Like they just like nix him and put in someone who's like, you know, who will at the very least respect Ukraine's sovereignty.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
I don't care if Russia is like a dick of a country, like and but I don't mean like to go and start a war or to invade shit. I mean like I don't care if they're a dick of a country, like when it comes to like how they do like their negotiating or anything like that. But like, like they like I think it's time for Putin to go. He's been in power for just a little bit too long. He's becoming very Stalin esque.
yeah, he's definitely doing a lot of things that a lot of people aren't agreeing with, and he's got a little too much autonomy. I think is part of the problem where he's saying there's no checks and balances there, because every time there's somebody that tries to check him, he fucking balances them right off the books.
Yeah, if the people of Russia stage a revolution, then wow, history is just repeating itself, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, and I've seen a few different things about, like, Russian troops that are refusing to follow orders, and they're at
Well,
the
I
point where
mean,
it's like there's no reason for us to be fighting with these people. This is
to the
fucking
people
dumb.
of Ukraine, like both the people that were already in the military and the citizens that are fighting, like fucking kudos because they're holding them off, you know?
Yeah, well, it a lot of what I've heard is this did not have the all the earmarks of a very well organized thing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the Russian troops did not have adequate supplies because the leadership thought it was going to be one of those, in and out kind of,
Isn't
oh yeah, no, we're going to go in there, we're going to flex, they're going to fold, and it's going to be over. Because, like, they're sending them out there with like expired fucking rations
isn't
and
there a rumor about Putin's health, like mental health, like does like maybe he has Parkinson's or something?
I haven't really heard anything to that effect. I mean, I've heard that there are people that are concerned about his stability, but
Hmm.
yeah, not anything directly related to. Of course, on the other hand, the last week or so, I've been very out of the loop on pretty much everything. It's been a
Hmm.
pretty crazy week at work, and I've been tired because I'm old, and crazy weeks are hard on old people.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
somebody bring me my pudding and my fucking walker.
I couldn't
I'm
find
almost ready
anything.
for Senate.
I am at the next presidential election I could actually run for the first time in my life, so
Yeah, I'm not
considering
gonna
it.
lie. It's not like I haven't thought about it. I mean,
Hmm.
I do have Aaron
You've
for
got
President
yeah,
stickers.
you've got the stickers. Yeah.
No, when I was a young man, I used to say, like, I have theories and I could fix the world, but the problem is somebody's going to put a bullet in my head before I get them done.
Hmm.
But part of that is going into it knowing you're going to get shot, because changes your perspective on things a little bit. Like, to get this really hardcore dictatorship to get everything fixed, and then, like, when I die, this is what you guys need to do to fix things and make sure the right people know. So once I get the shot in the head, they can take over and make things go the right way. But now that I'm older, I don't really want to get shot in the head anymore. So now,
Yeah.
I'll be part of the system. Vote for Aaron.
Vote for Aaron.
Aaron for
Aaron for
president,
president.
2024.
I'd vote for you.
Well, thank you, Cody. That's two.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably better than what I'd get. I think I'd just get the one.
I'm sure we could get you a couple. But I think I'd be a hell of a president. Just be like, you know what? Everybody in Congress, I'm writing my first executive order. You're all fired.
You
If
know,
you've been in there more than 2 terms, get the fuck out.
do you think that I should write like Donald Trump and be like, "Hey man, all I need is the funding and I will primary Mitch McConnell."
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Wouldn't it? Then this guy becomes one of the great senators from Kentucky. That'd be awesome,
The
right?
gentleman from Kentucky has the floor, and may we
Listen,
state that is a
goddammit.
magnificent beard.
Listen, goddammit. We have to make Disney fix that fucking Inquisitor's head in Kenobi. This is the most pressing national issue I can fucking think of. Oh,
Yeah,
that'd
but
be
that'll be
great,
up
right?
before the election.
That would be so good. I would make a great senator because I would be like, listen, Rand Paul, you and me, we're going to definitely get term limits passed on us assholes. And
Yeah, that's
I'll be
true.
like, and Rand, once the bill passes, technically you're going to be out because he's in his, I want to say his third now. That sounds about right. Third term, and he keeps introducing legislation to put term limits on them. So
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That would fix so many of the fucking problems with
it would.
one simple legislation. You don't get to do this forever. It was not meant to be a forever job.
No.
And frankly, if you're too old to hand out fucking carts at Walmart, your ass should not be dictating
Yes.
policy.
Yes.
The end.
Uh, I mean, in my opinion, it should be four senators or four terms for representatives, since their terms are 2 years,
Yeah.
so they could serve for 8 total, and then 2 terms for senators because theirs are 6. So that way, there's at least some semblance of or some carryover of government from one administration to the next administration, even if an administration wins 2 terms. Uh,
Yeah. My only problem with that is, do we really, looking at the way things are going, do we really want more carryover?
well, I mean,
Uh,
it would still be kind of fresh though, right?
yeah.
Because
No. Well, that was the original concept.
yeah,
You went in, you did your service, then you went back to your fucking farm,
yeah, just hung out.
and your uh what was it, the prisoners with jobs? Is that what they call them in the Marvel movies?
Yes, yes. The the people who would rather be doing something else but can't because of violence.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah, the whole system needs an overhaul.
Hmm.
It's like a fucking 72 Pinto that's somehow still running, even though it's been rear-ended 4 times, and it hasn't yet turned into a massive fireball.
Like most people, when they get that old, have at least some sort of mental decline.
Oh no, yeah, no. I'm all of our old people that are, once you get into office, it's obvious that they retain all their faculties.
They must be feeding them stem cells,
Yeah, fucking
just
shambling corpses.
rubbing it into their brain, like they remove their scalp and
Oh
then just rub
no,
it on their brain.
that's what Nancy was doing during the State of the Union. Every time she was rubbing her hands back together, she was charging up her cell
Yeah.
injections.
Oh, she was.
Yeah,
That was so weird.
yeah, that was. I mean, I understand that she's kind of a drunk on top of everything else, but that's like palsy or something. That's not
Yeah.
normal functioning. What that people don't do that.
She gave a weird press conference the other day too that I heard. Yeah, she seemed like she was pretty loopy.
Yeah, she might be glitching out. And but at least she got her hands on that poem from Bono. That fixed a lot. For
Yeah,
fuck's
and
sakes.
not to mention the insider trading and stuff, but
Oh no.
whatever.
That's not, no, we don't need to talk about that. That's no, we don't talk about Bruno.
We
Um
don't talk about insider trading.
no, insider trading is wrong because she got caught, and that's why she had to say it was wrong.
Yep, yep,
That's like,
that's on
yeah,
point.
tell me you're guilty without telling me you're guilty.
What about the punishment so far that up in your neck of the woods has been doled out to one Juicy Smollett?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. That I know guys that have done more time for fucking weed
Uh
than
huh.
this asshole got for
He did
multiple felonies.
he did 3 days out of 150
3
because
days.
it's in appeals, so they let him out.
Yeah, and
But you
that
saw the sentencing, right?
yeah, appeals don't work that way though. That's the thing.
No.
Like, nobody else gets out while their appeals being, and
Yeah.
they're trying to justify it by saying if he wins the appeal, the appeal could take longer than the amount of time he would be in jail. Like, that is somehow a good thing. Like, oh no, we're letting him out because if he wins his appeal, he won't have, it will have taken more than the 150 days to get the appeal process finished. Well, then maybe he should just shut the fuck up and go sit in his cell.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't even a good enough sentencing.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
he's like,
and
I'm
he's
not
not
suicidal.
suicidal.
Yeah. I'm not getting Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Even
Yeah,
though if he did do that to himself, it would definitely have been him, and he would
oh
be try to stage it like a hoax.
yeah, no, he would have tried to stage a suicide so he could blame the guards or whatever,
Yeah, he
and
would
they were
have.
saying this is MAGA country.
Yeah, he would
These
have
are
left
MAGA
a note.
cells.
He would have left a note that said "I didn't do this."
It was Trump supporters.
Oh,
I
such a
mean,
ridiculous thing to even try to do. Like
well, and the
he
thing
had
that kills
already made
me,
it.
He does it in literally one of the bluest places in the fucking country.
Yeah, like I was
Regardless
talking
of how
about
you
that.
feel about any of that other shit, there is nobody walking around the neighborhoods in Chicago. He was talking about screaming, "This is MAGA country."
No,
I don't even know how he thought that was going to work.
like I was like literally saying like you literally have to believe that two corn fed big boys came up to Chicago in a winter vortex with wind chills at negative 60 degrees. We're out at what? 1 or 3 a.m. Those are the numbers I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
One
it
of
was
those
like between
numbers
1 and 3 a.m.
at a subway in what is known colloquially as the gay district of New York or Chicago, and screamed out what they did and threw bleach on him and tied a noose around his neck. And then you have to believe that he walked home with his Subway sandwich and didn't take it off. And in fact was caught on camera with it loose around neck. And then before the cops came and on body camera, he had tightened it up.
Well, yeah, you gotta straighten your tie before you talk to the officers.
So I mean, like to believe that, right? Like, and people desperately wanted to believe it. They wanted to believe it so
Oh
bad.
yeah, people wanted it to be true so bad.
Like there are so many things
I
that are
stand with Juicy, justice for Juicy.
there's so many things that are in the didn't age well category now. On
Yeah.
Twitter forever, on video forever. It's just it's there. And it's ridiculous.
Well, and on top of that, just disregarding everything you pointed out that was fucking ridiculous about it. The thing that catches me is the kind of guys that he said attacked him aren't the motherfuckers that are watching Power to know he's that gay guy from Power
Right. No, Empire.
or Empire. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Power's a
right.
great show, by the way.
And so like what's the point? Like what
Yeah,
is the point of him doing it? He was already on TV. He was already famous. He was already making money. He already
yeah,
lived in a nice place. He had a nice life, right? Like
yeah,
so like what's the point? Do you want like you wanted to blow up bigger?
yeah. And I
Look at
don't. I
greed?
just he wanted to stir up shit, is what he wanted to do.
Is it that you want that much attention? Like at that point you have to start questioning like if there's like some kind of mental illness involved with it, Like
After watching him at the sentencing, I sincerely believe there's some mental illness involved in it.
yeah,
Because again, like I said, motherfucker, you're not that important.
no.
You're not even like the headliner on a TV show. You're supporting cast.
You're a
And
guy like I've never watched the show, but like I didn't know who he was, but there he had plenty of fans. The show was popular.
yeah, it's a popular show. He was not like the least significant character on the show, but he wasn't the most significant either.
Right? It wasn't like he was playing the janitor.
Yeah, and I mean, I was halfway expecting him to come out with something like, "Oh, well, so and so put me up to it. We were doing it to cause more conflict with Trump supporters or something like that." Because I mean, the timing
Like
fits.
yeah,
But that is literally also the only reason I could come up with why anybody would even consider suiciding this asshole, because if they did put him up to telling the most cockamamie horse shit story that he could come up with. And if they're going to suicide him, I don't think they're going to suicide him because they're worried about getting exposed. I think they're going to suicide him because they feel like, how did you fuck this up that badly?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it it legitimately, particularly considering the climate of the time, there was enough shit going on in this area at that time for somebody who makes a living pretending.
Uh huh.
He could have done a little better.
Yeah.
He could have gotten a couple of script writers to proofread his copy before he went out.
Like I feel like 20 years from now, we're gonna be seeing him working as a bagger at a grocery store, and they're gonna be doing like a feature on him on like 60 Minutes, like Juicy Smollett, the man who staged a hate crime.
That
Where
would be
is he now?
fantastic.
Wouldn't it? I'd watch
He's
that.
like, he
I'd be
works
like,
at a Kroger on the south side of Kenosha. He said, back in my days, this was all on fire.
He just keeps saying, I'm not
I am not
suicidal.
suicidal. Then they find
Uh,
him somewhere. It says Brooks was here and he's hanging from a rafter. Good
uh,
reference.
very good reference.
But yeah, no, that was utterly ridiculous, and the way people around here jumped on board with that, and it was kind of like in one of the Dave Chappelle specials, Dave said it. He was like, who isn't supporting him? The black community. Why? Because we can smell a bullshit story.
Uh huh.
And
Yeah.
it was like I was sitting there going, "This is." When I heard it, I'm like, "You got to be shitting me! There's no way this happened." I refuse to believe it. Like, I've been in downtown Chicago. I've been on the north side of Chicago. I've been in a lot of places in Chicago. I've never once seen somebody walking around with a rope, you know?
No, or bleach.
Or, yeah, well, maybe a bottle of bleach, but that's, it's because a
Well,
lot of people in that part of town, you're shopping at a small store that's within walking distance of your apartment because a lot of people in Chicago proper don't drive because
uh
there's
huh.
nowhere to park and it's
Right.
fucking expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
You get a parking spot, you leave your car in that shit unless you have to go somewhere. Other than that, you ride the L or you walk or you take the subway and you buy only what you can carry.
People also drive like shit in Chicago.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I when I used to have to commute to Chicago for work, I hated it.
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't mind riding the train so much because the train was fun because you could drink on the train, and people did a lot. I would ride the train out to the suburbs and then drive from the suburbs back home. And like my train, if I caught the commuter train home, like the 5 p.m. train, man, there were people on there to be. There was a group in one of the cars. It was all regulars. They always kept the same train, and they rotated who bought the case of beer for the ride home. And if you were cool with them, they'd just hand you a can of beer when you got on the train. Like, hey, all right, here you go. It's Tuesday. Fucking
Hell
A.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
And then like things like when I was working in Chicago, like the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup, and I was on a 6 a.m. train into the city that was full of people that were drinking at 6 a.m. Passing around gallons of fucking like orange juice and vodka,
Yeah.
basically. I can't really call it a screwdriver because it wasn't mixed in the right ratio. It was like vodka and a little bit of orange juice,
Oh, that
or
makes me sick
or
just thinking
gallons of
about it.
Bloody Marys getting passed around, and people just pulling straight out of the bottle. Nobody's worried about catching scabies or anything. I'm like, and they're handing them to me, and I'm like, no thanks, I'm going to work. Here you go. Or
Oh,
St. Patrick's Day, we'd be riding the train in. Everybody on the train's pissed drunk at like 7 a.m.
I do not want to taste vodka. Like if there's vodka in something I'm drinking, I don't want to know it. Like
Yeah, it
because
needs to
I
be stealth
really
vodka.
like. I got really drunk off Grey Goose one time, and that was fine. Like that didn't bother me. But like, if it's not something that smooth, I'm not gonna like drinking vodka. It makes me think I'm drinking rubbing alcohol.
That's fair. I can actually recommend a good one. I don't think it's actually in your neck of the woods yet, though. I endorse it
Speaking of
anytime somebody
Grey
brings
Goose,
up
though,
vodka. It's called Dillinger Vodka.
that's a
It's
good
a
name,
little it's a local, and well, it's not local here, but it's available here.
do
It's
you,
I want to say it's an Illinois distillery,
dude? I
but
want you to go check out like a bar in Chicago, like not a specific bar, but try to see if you can get a beer called a little something something.
yeah, I can get a little something something.
Can you? Because
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite fucking beer I've ever had in my whole life.
yeah. No,
And
I
like, it's not. I can't get it,
okay. Well, I might have to send you a care package because I can get it. I can get it at the Jewel down the street from my house.
dude. That is awesome because that shit is so good.
Yeah, a little something's good. Yeah,
Do
it's
the people that make that have any other beers?
yes, they got lots of beers.
Okay,
I'm trying to
well,
I'm trying to think because they do seasonals and then they have regular.
oh, seasonals are always nice.
Yeah. Let me see what's available right now. Let's
Oh fuck
open
yeah,
up my
dude.
Untapped.
Like, cause like it. I don't normally want to drink, but like if someone's got a good enough bourbon, or if there's a beer that I really like, fuck yeah, I'll take it. I'll drink a little bit.
MPI, little something.
Oh hell yeah, it is so good.
Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, I'm not good with Untapped. I don't use it very often. Lagunitas.
Margarita.
Let's see what is available right now. Let's see. They got the standard IPA.
Tequila sunrise.
Let's see. Daytime IPA is good. They got their hoppy refresher. That's okay if you like hoppy stuff. Let's see. Maximus is good. Yeah, they got several good ones right now. Hazy Memories actually one I like because it's a New England IPA, which is a little different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They got any with a little bit of citrus notes in it?
Yeah. I got a couple actually. Yeah, Hazy Wonderland's good. I don't know. Once I get some stuff paid down, I'll see if I can put you together a little sampler. Send you
Fucking
some good Midwest
take
beers.
take some pictures. Take some pictures and send them to me because I'm excited to see it because I've
Yeah.
only had it on tap.
Well, there's one you could look for too. That's oh god, my brain is not cooperating right now. It's the name of the fucking brewery. Uh, well, anyway, the Noon Whistle. That's the name of the brewery. I had to think about it for a minute. If you
Noon
ever
whistle.
happen to see something from Noon Whistle, they make some pretty good, like different,
Like
different ales and
why is it a little something something out here? Like I take it you probably have never heard of Country Boy, have you?
new. That's not what I
Okay,
am
yeah. So
familiar with.
that's why. So I guess that's what they mean by microbrewery.
Yeah,
it's
it's their
not that they're
distribution
like
not real big.
yeah. So they're more regional than national. Gotcha.
Yeah, like
Well,
Lagunitas. Like I said, I can probably get 4 or 5 different ones just by going down to the Jewel.
and I'll show you some shit from Country Boy. See if you want to try any of it because it's pretty good.
Yeah, but like I said, I think I'm gonna get you a Noon Whistle sampler because they make good beers. That's my old boss actually turned me on to him because I don't remember how we got on the subject, but we were talking about we were gonna we got done with work early or some shit, and we're like, I need a beer, and he was like, yeah, I need this, and I was like, I never heard of it, and he's like, oh, you got to try it. And I said, well, I'm gonna stop by the liquor store in town here and see if they have it, and they're like, the liquor store in my town is not a big liquor store. Like we just got a Jewel, like the Jewel, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. This is a little like mom and pop shop. It's in a strip mall. It's got like 4 shelves, but they have a pretty decent like microbrew selection. So I went over there and I was like, holy shit, they got like a bunch of beers from this company. I went back and told my boss, and he's like, really? Because my liquor store was out. So he wanted on his way home the next day, he wound up stopping in the liquor store in my town instead of his town. And I ran into him in there because I was like, I'm gonna go get another one because it comes in 4 packs. It's called Gummy Vortex,
Yeah.
and oh man, it was good. I drank 2 of them as shower beers like as soon as I got home, and they're like 16-ounce cans.
Shower beers.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was that kind of day. It was like 110 degrees out and it was hot. That's when I was working at the refinery. I had
Oh,
catering to
yeah.
deliver all over the place. So I was outside running around all day. I was like, oh, this sucks. And so, yeah, shower beers. And they were fantastic. But yeah, they're like I said, it's pretty good. But their brewery actually moved and it's like 10 miles from my office now. So
Nice.
and they get stuff that they only sell at the brewery too. Like they've done some really weird microbrews where I was like, I want to try that. They got like a peanut butter jelly one. They got what was the last one? And they do theme things too. Like they had a Willy Wonka's themed event at the brewery, and just all this different shit. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Paramus
pretty
has a
cool.
Willy Wonka CD.
Hmm.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Primus has a Willy Wonka CD, and they went on tour for that CD. That's one of the times that I've seen them.
I feel like I should know that. Why do I not know that?
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Like that concert, they put on a whole fucking show. Like
I
they're
mean, I believe it.
ridiculous. Like these motherfucking like distorted ass Oompa Loompas coming out with like
Oh,
these
gee.
giant ass goddamn heads. It was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite songs on it is a Golden Ticket, because like he starts off and he's like singing it all like melodically and shit, but when it gets to I've got a golden ticket, it gets fucking funky. He's like, but I got a golden ticket, I got a golden ticket, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I can hear that in a Les Claypool voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. You have to
Awesome.
check it out if you haven't heard that.
Yeah, no, I will definitely look into that.
Their most recent album actually is is about something about like and the seven colors or something like that.
Hmm.
It's just like it's a child's tale that I guess he had like for his kid, and like they wrote music about like they tell the whole story of the book through like their latest album.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like
Yeah.
I've listened to it through. I enjoyed it, but I'm a big Primus fan, so they generally don't rub me the wrong way. There are a couple of songs that I skip, but other than that,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a few that aren't exactly on
like
my repeat playlist.
n-
But
there's
on the
one
other
on
hand, I listen to
Tales from
Tommy
the
the
Punch
Cat at
Bowl.
least once a week. So
Yeah, there's one from Tales from the Punch Bowl. Uh, one of those songs, like I'm just like, yeah, if it comes on, I'll just skip it because I'm just like, yeah, that's all right. I don't need to listen to that.
yeah,
But then there are times that a song comes on by them, and I'm like, oh, oh fuck yeah, like Eclectic Electric. That's a great fucking
that's
song.
a good jam.
Mm-hmm. Like
Yeah, no,
that's a band that's
I
good.
have I have one guaranteed skip, which is Nature Boy. That's a
Oh
I have my own
no,
reasons behind that though. I have trauma attached
no.
to that song.
Oh well, that sucks. But my buddy from school, uh, who's in a band, like signed, in my opinion, big time, right? Like they tour with big bands, and so like he's living like the fucking dream that we always talked about. He's the drummer, but like we were heavily involved with the church. His dad was the youth minister for the church, and so like there's a park in town called College Park. I used to live really close to it. I still live pretty close to it, but I live closer to a different park that's newer. But they have this like little half auditorium thing. Like it's just like a stage that only has like maybe like 2 3 foot high walls on the side of it,
Okay.
and it has electricity and shit, so you can hook up amps and play out there. And so like the church was doing something out there, and they're like, "Do you guys want to play?" And we are like, "Yeah, but we want to play Primus." And they're like, "Yeah, that's cool." And one of the songs we played, and it was just me and him. We didn't have a guitar player, but I was singing and he was like drumming, and I'm on the bass, just like tearing it up. But one of the songs we played was Nature Boy. But they said I couldn't say my genitalia, so I changed it to I said my my pectoral and abdominal muscles. That's what I said instead of my genitalia and pectoral muscles. but
That's a good change.
but yeah, but they still didn't like the fact that it's like um I stroke him, stroke him, stroke him, stroke him, stroke him, stroke him, stroke. They didn't like that part. I was like, it's about a cat, and they're like, it's not about a cat, Cody. And I'm like, he says a cat.
He says it's a cat.
He
It's
says it's a
about a
cat.
cat.
He says it's a cat, man. I think I'm taking it literally. The audience will too. But dude,
Right.
yeah, me and him had so much fun. We played Primus for kids in England. He and I did. We went
That's
over on
pretty
this
cool.
fucking trip and played Primus for people in England, and they were fucking like jamming out hard because it was like high school age kids. They were like loving it. We had a good time. Like we would play songs like Lacquerhead, John the Fisherman, Too Many Puppies, Sergeant Baker, Nature Boy, My Name is Mud. Um, we to defy the laws of tradition, Groundhog's Day. We'd play almost every song off of Frizzle Fry if they'd give us enough time to do it. Like we would just go. It was just so fun.
That's cool. Oh Lord, now I'm getting nostalgic.
Right?
It's one of the problems with being an old fuck.
I'm not
Everything.
even that old yet, but I
Well, I was talking
feel
about
it.
me, but
Yeah, I know, but like
you're
every
saying
day,
that you're saying the words to make me think of the young times, the happy times, back in the
ugh,
old days when I
they
used
were
to run
good
around
times.
like Nature Boy.
Well, yeah, that sucks that there's issues with that song
Yeah,
because
like I said,
I love it.
it's purely a personal thing. It's because it's not a bad song, but I have associated memories with it where it's like instantly induces rage, and I
Right?
don't
Yeah.
need that in my life these days because I'm a little fluffy and I don't want to have a heart attack over some dumb shit that happened 30 years ago. So
Yep.
just no, that's not a good look. So
You know, a lot of people say things like that Les can't sing, but I think that his voice goes perfectly with the sound of Primus and pretty much any of his other projects because he's
yeah,
kind of this unique kind of guy.
yeah. Well, actually, one of my favorite things about Les that I ever heard anyone ever say, and I will pick this one and say, yep, that's my favorite Les statement. Is when he tried out for Metallica, and the guys
Yeah.
at Metallica were like, "What are we gonna do with no, this guy's we can't have this guy. He's too good."
Like he said that when he showed up for that fucking audition, he said he looked at him and he said, "So you guys want to play some Allman Brothers?" Oh, he's a character.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ugh. I had a friend, and he is an ex friend because he got really bad off on heroin and
It's a good
pawned
reason.
my bass and stole about $1,200 from another one of my friends and tried to blame me for it. So yeah, ex friend. Um,
Yeah.
so he went to a Les Claypool show. It wasn't a Primus show. It was just Claypool, one of his
Mm.
other projects, and he had VIP passes. So and he kept trying to get me to go, but I was like, dude, I'm working. I can't get off work. And he was like, well, you should just go. And like he said, he met Les Claypool, and like he was like, yeah, I told him about you that you're too much of a bitch to get off work, and I was like, oh yeah, well that's really cool of you. But that was before he pawned my bass, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
sad though.
Hate
I
it when
need
that
a new
happens.
bass. I really do. I want to. There's nothing more fun than sitting down, putting on Frizzle Fry, and just playing it through.
Yeah. I gotta get a new guitar and
Oh, dude, we could jam. We could jam, dude. You could do Larry Lalonde shit.
yeah.
Like when you get to the solos, you just have to make noise. He's a great guitar player, Larry Lalonde, but like the shit that he does when like Les is playing, it's generally pretty simple shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, when Les is doing what Les does, there's
Yeah, exactly.
he just
You've seen
accent.
him you've seen him play Master of Puppets at Woodstock, right?
Yeah, that's
Oh, dude, I could do that. I could play that. That's so fun.
that's cool. Yeah. No, I've seen some great Les performances over the back in the days, and yeah,
Well, that Tommy the Cat, that's a song I could only kind of play. That that
yeah,
shit's tough,
yeah,
and I could not play it and sing. Like a lot of the songs I could play and sing, which is way more difficult than I think a lot of people give it credit for. Even like a guitar to like play and sing at the same time,
Yeah.
it's very difficult.
Well, and then on top of it, when Les starts doing that big old hillbilly stomp that he does too while he's playing, I, man, I don't even have the balance for that.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. Like I used to like I'd like pop my leg up and down like he does. I would do that shit.
Yeah, I get one of my best friends from way back, like way back, like like kindergarten. He plays bass, and he used to do that when we were kids. And I'm like, how do you manage to not fall over? I mean, on top of everything else, you're like 6'2" and 130 pounds. So
That's
the
how.
the bass, you don't have any counterbalance for that
It's that.
bass.
Yeah, it's that low. It's like that, like almost non-existent center of gravity on that kind of a frame, and
Yeah, I
like
mean, it's just kind of floating there.
yeah. So it's just it doesn't matter. He could lift both legs off the ground at the same time and do it, and he would stay in the same spot, and not fall.
Yeah, probably. Skinny bastard.
Well, you know who has like the best dance of like any artist ever?
Hmm.
It's Ian Curtis from Joy Division.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that at all?
Okay, I can. I'm thinking about it. I can see that. That's
Well, yeah, that the seizure dance, because
yeah.
like he had epilepsy, and the way that he danced, it pretty much resembled a seizure. And multiple occasions, he literally went into a seizure, and the band would think he was dancing up until the moment that he fell over.
Yeah, that's a.
That's the best dance. Like there are gifs of the dance. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a great dance. You can find it on YouTube. If
Yeah,
you
that's
look up like transmission live,
that's what I was thinking of. Was
hmm
yeah.
that's
That's
probably the best dance anyone's ever done when it comes to like being on stage dancing.
yeah. That's pretty. And it says something that he could just throw himself into it like that too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, he was into it. He was
Yeah,
into that music,
actual joy.
and he he killed himself right before coming to America for their first big American tour.
Yeah.
It would be good if he was still alive, but a band came along in our time that was kind of like that. Interpol. Do you ever listen to any of them?
Um. I'm not. It's not ringing any bells at the moment, but
I'll send
I'm.
you a
I say
song.
I might know if I heard the songs. That's the thing.
I never really heard them on the radio.
I never
So,
really listened to the
so
radio.
I
So
found them after finding Joy Division. I think they might have popped up on like a Pandora station because I would keep skipping shit like the Buzzcocks. I was like, I get it, the Buzzcocks inspired Joy Division, but that's not who I want to listen to right now. It's not the mood I'm going for.
yeah, no, you got to be in the right headspace for things like the Buzzcocks.
Yeah, and so yeah, they're really good. The singer has a voice pretty similar to Ian Curtis's, and the music is how I kind of feel that they would evolve based off of how New Order turned out.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
no,
think you might dig them.
I'll definitely check it out. That sounds cool.
I like how now we've like switched to talking about music.
The organic flow of the conversation. That's
So good.
so good. But yeah, no, it's. I don't know. I've actually been on a pretty tame musical kick recently, which is kind of ironic if I'm being completely honest, because shortly before I've got several different playlists loaded into my Spotify thing, and the playlist I started playing just a couple days ago. I had forgotten there's like a whole bunch of Russian ska on it, and I was like, I don't know if this is ironic that I forgot all this was on here, because it's all like international music.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Viking metal and uh, geez, what's the guy's name? Peyton Parrish, and he does a bunch of Viking stuff too. And was a band out of I think Norway or Sweden called Grimner, which is
I loved them because I found them by accident, and they was like it's like Swedish death metal, Viking metal, and they have like I was going down like a YouTube rabbit hole one day and I found this band and I was like, you know what, I actually dig this is good music. But I found them because of the video because they're all like dressed up in Vikings like furs and fucking leather belts and shit. And they got
Fuck
the
yeah.
one guy in the band who's playing like a Viking flute and he's bald, but he's got really long hair. But he's got like bald guy really long hair, you know. He's just got that
Yeah.
fringe, but it goes all the
Yeah.
way to his fucking back and a long ass beard. And he's playing the shit out of this flute and thrashing around in the video. And in the video, you know, you got like the fucking guitar players and the drummer, like they're standing in front of this bonfire and just head banging like a motherfucker, and you know, just and it's just and then this fucking blonde haired bald guy with long ass hair and a beard thrashing around playing a flute. It's fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, but that's like it's my like international what the fuck music. And so I've been listening to that because I don't know why I was just on that particular kick. I was like, I want to listen to Swedish Viking death metal with a hardcore flute. So I picked that playlist, and then all of a sudden, all this Russian ska starts playing, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm gonna destroy all my vodka and everything Russian because Russia bad because Putin dick.
Right.
Because I'm a little more realistic than that. Like I said, I know there's a lot of really good people that don't have a dog in this fight or they are directly opposed to it.
Yep.
And I'm not going to go around shitting on them because their leader's a fucking wackadoo. Because our leader's a senile senior citizen who you know shits himself in front of other world leaders and then
Yep.
asks where his ice cream is.
Falls
So
upstairs.
yeah, falls upstairs, rambles incoherently. I mean, like I have an excuse, but at least my sentence is somewhat string together. You know, I mean, yeah, I may get off subject and talk for like 3 hours without ever getting to the point of the first story, but all the sentences make sense. You know,
Right.
I'm not talking about how you know that one dude back when you know I sit in the pool and the water would shine on the hairs on my legs, and the kids would rub them because they loved it. And then you know that corn pop was a bad dude.
Yeah,
What
Jane.
the fuck?
Right.
Here's your double chocolate chip. Here, go fuck off. Where's Camel Toe? Oh, there she
Oh.
is.
Oh man, that's a good one. I haven't
Uh,
heard that one yet, but it's so obvious.
well, you know, I did. You know, far be it from me to avoid the cheap joke, but and I I said that to somebody else. And they're like, you know, I expect better from you. That's just a cheap humor. And I'm like, no, it's fucking funny. And you're uptight. You're just mad because you're fanboying for the blue side, and you somehow think I'm not gonna shit on them. It's
My mom told me a pretty good joke.
no, not your mom. She seems so timid and reserved.
Oh no, she told me a really good joke. She said, "Did you hear that the president had to go to the hospital today?" No, no, I did not. Yeah, he couldn't stop Putin.
Jesus.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. It's
Ah,
a really funny dad joke,
that's
but
a
I was
great
told
dad
it by
joke.
my mom.
That's a
But so
Sam joke.
dads,
That's
yeah, put that
fantastic.
in your topical arsenal immediately. Use
Yes.
that quickly.
Couldn't stop Putin. I like it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know. I've got to be a little more contained when I'm. Now that people are starting to come back to the office, it's like, you know, I got a pretty good measure for all the people I've been working with for like the last year and a half. But
Uh
now
huh.
all the people that have been working remotely are in the office, and all of a sudden I find myself having to behave again because it's like, I don't know none of y'all. I better be good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to trigger people. Like I found out apparently one of the people I work with is takes certain things like blasphemy very seriously, and I did not realize that was an issue.
Yeah, and they have to respect it.
Yeah, so I apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be offensive to you. I said I just got some really bad news, and my initial reaction was to just go, Jesus Christ.
Well, at a previous job that I had, there's a very religious woman, and if you cursed in front of her, she would like smack you in the back of the fucking head. And like I told her, I was like, look, I try not to, but if I slip, don't smack me in the back of the head. And she was like, well, but you deserve it. And I was like, well, I can go to HR because I'm allowed to say damn. And then there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Yeah, no, this, like I said, this particular case, I was just like, you know what? I apologize. I I I was like sorely tempted to. I have certain in-law family members, not my direct in-laws, but the extended in-law family members that like to periodically give me shit about things I say and do. And I've had one particular comes to mind that used to constantly give me shit about things and be like, well, that's not very Christian like of you. And I said, no, I'm sorry, you're right. Allow me to come over there with a saber and stab you for not agreeing with me. That's much more Christian, the whole Crusades thing. And she's just like, that's not what I. And it was kind of funny because I generally, I don't really get into religion.
Right.
It's not that I'm, not willing to talk about it. It's just more like it's not worth the headache.
Uh-huh.
Because the people who take that shit really seriously, it doesn't matter what I say, they're not going to change their opinions. So
Yeah.
it's
And
like
I
it's
mean,
not worth the headache.
as
But
far as I'm concerned, if they don't want to hurt other people, then they can have whatever opinion they want on it.
exactly, as long as you're not trying to. I saw a T-shirt that said it one time, and I almost bought it. It said, "Religion's a lot like a penis. It's great to have it. It's okay to be proud of it, but don't try and force it on me."
That is a great shirt.
Yep.
I'm gonna
And
tell Sarah that. She's
and
gonna
then
like
there's a caveat you could add to that. It says, "Keep it away from my kids."
that. Yes, I'm gonna add that. That's a good one.
Yeah, but yeah. So I generally, but if I know something's going to particularly irritate you, and like in the case where this happens, where she's like, "Well, you're not being very Christian-like," and I looked her dead in the face. I said, "Well, that's probably because I'm not a Christian. You do realize that, right?" So, what? So, I'm
Yep.
not. I do not identify as a Christian. I do not. She's like, "I thought you were an altar boy." I'm like, "I was." That's one of the reasons I no longer identify as a Christian.
And see,
And,
like
and then she
that's
got a little more huffy, and I was like, "Well, if you want to get technical, I'm a pagan." I said, I decided to go with a slightly older faith. I think it was established first, and I like the fact that your God got hung up on a cross, and my God walks around with a hammer. She did not appreciate that at all.
um like I think a lot of times people forget that like you can have that conversation at like home, but like you can't like have that conversation at work because at work you could get in a lot of trouble for it. And like there's a guy at work and like one of the other state inspectors is a very religious fellow and he just kept pushing and pushing it like, blah 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 blah. And like finally like they had to pull him aside and was like, look, if you don't quit, we're not going to be able to talk him out of going and getting you fired, dude. So
Yeah, I like I said, that's one of those things. It's not that I won't talk about it. It's more that it's like it's just easier not to,
exactly.
and
And that's why you took the right course of action.
yeah, and in those terms, I mean, I'd love to hear somebody because I mean, like I said, I'm not particularly religious. I'm more spiritual. I believe in living decently and being a good person, and that should be enough.
Yeah.
But if you want to stick your labels on it and get all pissy with me, there's a really good chance, just because of, like I said, I did grow up in a Catholic school and I was an altar boy, and I read all the books, all the books. I got accused of being a heathen and all kinds. I ever since I was little, because I used to argue with the religion teachers. Um, I got in trouble in Catholic school for arguing with the librarian because they had all the other religion books filed under mythology. And I was like, no, these are religions too. They're just not the same religion as the one you follow. That doesn't, either they're all mythology or none of them are mythology. And she was, yeah, I wound up
Be
in the
fair.
principal's office over that one. And yeah, I've always been one of those, kind of poke the bear people. I've gotten calmer in my older age, but I still remember how to do it.
Oh no, I mean I'm the same way.
No,
I'm the same way.
Your kid, no.
Yeah, I'd rather make waves than not.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
like, and
like I said, I think I'm
sometimes,
just getting old because now I just want to relax, sit back, and be
well,
happy.
when I was younger, I think I definitely had a harder time choosing a hill to die on because it was like every hill.
Yeah,
And
that was the other thing is I got to the point where I was spread way too fucking thin.
so it's like, well, you gotta understand what things are really important, and you gotta just hold firm.
Yep, pick your battles, know what's worth fighting for and what's worth shrugging off. It's key to
Oh,
not having a
hello,
fucking ulcer
Bruno.
too.
Yeah.
You know, because
Hello, Bruno.
I can tell you from personal experience, those ain't fun. Ulcers suck.
Well, my boy came to pay me a visit.
Yeah. Oh, what a good boy.
He's a good boy. He probably wants to go out, honestly.
Well, it is getting kind of late.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got? You got 9:15 there.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, I don't know. Anything else you want to cover? You want to?
No, I think it was good.
All right,
That's
cool.
yeah.
Want to
That
do a
was
quick
fun.
little plug for Dungeons and Podcasts and
Yeah. All
or
right.
any of your social shit? Anything you want to holler out, shout out?
So if you want to check out more of me and some of my friends, you can check out, like Aaron said earlier, Dungeons and Podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and Good Pods. I'll probably put it on more, but I'm a little lazy. But it comes out generally once a month. This past month, we didn't end up recording. We ended up not playing. The DM went out of town, but so we played board games instead. But we're going to be doing that, and I'm about to start a game with Loretta, Javier, and Garrett, and we're going to be playing a Star Wars D&D game, and it's going to be very fun. I need to talk with them and figure out what era they'd want to play in. And the era that I'm hoping they choose is obviously going to be during the Galactic Empire, because that's just a great time. It's a great time.
We're gonna have to beg to differ.
Oh,
I'm
like Knights of the
I'm
Old
an old
Republic.
Republic guy.
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic would be really fun. I agree, but I feel like I would get uh, more. Like, I think they would enjoy it more in the Galactic Republic. Maybe Javier would be like, dude, Old Republic, or sorry, not Galactic Empire, not Galactic Republic. But yeah, so you can catch that. There's also a Twitter for it. It's at DNGS ANDPDCSTS, because putting all the vowels in it was just too long. Yeah, there's that. And I do stuff on YouTube, and I'm gonna get back into Twitch streaming soon, so you can watch me play Rocket League, and that is at Zeph Primus on Twitch and at C Was Eiley on YouTube.
Well, there you go. All right, cool. And for
Yeah.
now, that's what we had to say.
Thanks for listening to another episode of I Had to Say It. If you liked what you heard, leave a review, give us a follow, give me some feedback. And if you didn't like what you heard, leave a review, give me a follow, give me some feedback. I'll try and fix it. Check us out on all the social media platforms. At I Had to Say It podcast is the trigger for all that stuff, for the search term. And if you want, check out the website, www.ihadtosayitpodcast.com. There's links to people that have been involved with the program, things I've talked about. There are some links available for some merch that we're working on, and there are ways to contact us there as well. And thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.